So in this video, we're going to be looking at your own P&L and balance sheet. Now, if you don't know what a P&L and balance sheet is, don't worry. P&L looks at your income and expense. So income could be your wages, it could be any dividends that you have, it could be any interest on your savings, and expenses could be, say for example, credit card expenses, it could be just your general bills, it could be your mortgage, it could be any car payments, it could be petrol, things like that. They're all expenses. So P&L essentially looks at what you have coming in and takes off what you have going out. So in the context of what we're talking about here, I would highly recommend everybody look at their expenses that they've got going out and just really considering whether or not they need everything that they are paying for. Have a look at all the other bills that you've got as well, your internet, your television, your mobile phone. If you can get a better deal somewhere else, switch. Reduce your bills down as low as possible. Spend a day on it. Just get that expense as low as possible. So I'll go through a worked example of how to reduce your debt and how to hopefully sort out these balances. We've got a fictional person called Tim. Tim has some financial products. Say he has a credit card. Tim could have a loan. And then Tim has balances on these items. So balance. So on his credit card, let's give Tim a hypothetical balance of £1,000. And on his loan, let's give him a balance of £9,000. The total amount he owes out to financial institutions is £10,000. Cool. And his rate at which he is borrowing at on the top line here would be, let's make it around 30%, just as a little example. And then here on the loan at 10%. Now, in order to work out his weighted rate here, we can't just add down to give us 40%, because that wouldn't be true. The reason why that's not true is because he's got an element here at 30% and he's got an element here at 10%. Therefore, we need to take a weighted approach to this. And the way that we do that is to multiply these across. So we do the £1,000 times by 30. So his cost here, let's make a cost column, would be 300 on the 30%, and it'll be 900 on the 10% to give his total cost of £1,200. And therefore, if we were trying to get his weighted rate that he's got here, we'd take his cost divided by his balance, multiplied by 100 to give his rate as a percentage. So in this instance, we take his cost, which is £1,200, and we divide it by his balance, which is 10 grand, and then we'd multiply it by 100 to get a rate of 12%. So that 1,200 divided by 10,000 multiplied by 100 to give 12%. That's how we work out his weighted cost there. So that's what Tim's got there. So this is what Tim had. This is his old view. So in this example, let's just say Tim came into some money. Tim was given from his family members, so it was a big birthday for him, and his family gave him £1,000. That's a gift to him from, I don't know, say his mum and dad or something, or his aunt and uncle. There you go. They said, "Hey, go, Tim. Here's a £1,000 check." Tim's got this £1,000 and he wants to pay off some debt, and he's looking at his options. Does he pay off his debt at 30%, or does he pay off his debt at 10%, or does he bank it and get, say, does he get 1% off a bank? So bank rate 1%. So if Tim banks this, he'll only get 1% on his savings. So instead of banking it and getting 1%, Tim might say to himself, "Hey, I want to pay off this credit card here because this is costing me 30%. It's costing me £300 on £1,000. So if I pay that off, I save myself £300, right? Because he's going to be saving 30%. If Tim was to take that £1,000 and put it off the loan here, he'll reduce this to £8,000, which would be fine, but his cost would still be £800. That'd be 10% of the £8,000 hypothetically. So he'd only be saving £100 here. instead of saving the 300. So if Tim really wanted to, he could use this £1,000 gift that he's got here, and he could pay off this credit card here. So he just gets rid of this, and that would reduce his cost of debt to 10%. So instead of having 12% cost of debt, he now has a 10% cost of debt, and he's actually, you could almost say he's made 30%, he's saved 30%. You could say he's saved 30% in the year. If Tim was to use this gift and pay off this balance, he could save this money here. So he's plus £300 if he does that. So Tim automatically saves 30% per annum. He's in a better position. Now, if you imagine some people have credit card balances much bigger than this, say if that was £10,000 rather than £1,000, that cost of debt would be £3,000. If Tim was gifted £10,000, then he'd be saving £3,000, and you get the idea. It's just, it makes sense to pay off this credit card, because if he was to try and match this, he'd have to try and get a return of higher than 30% in order to make it better to put it somewhere else. And to make 30% in the stock market, it's not impossible, but it's not easy either. So the easiest thing that Tim can do here is probably pay off that 30%. So the next step, I suppose, would be to talk about assets and liabilities. And this is generally called the balance sheet. Assets are things that you own. So these could be your house, they could be your car, they could be your savings balances. These are all assets, things that you own. So if you look at liabilities specifically, these are things that you owe. So you might owe a loan, for example, or a mortgage, or some sort of car finance. These are all liabilities that you have. And generally, what we're going to be looking at in future videos is equity. And equity is essentially your assets, it's your asset position minus your liabilities, and that will give you your equity as a residual. And as an individual, hopefully this channel is going to help you grow your equity as large as possible. So if you work for somebody and you have a pension with your employer, double check the terms of that pension, double check what their contributions are. Some employers will pay in to your pension, some will match the contributions that you give, and these are really good because essentially it's free money. So if you can pay in more and your employer will match it, then go ahead. So the next point would be mortgage rates. Double check your mortgage rate, have a look at how much you're paying at the moment, and if you're on a high rate, switch. Fix it if you want to fix it, if that works for you, but just reduce that cost as low as possible. I mean, it doesn't really make much difference who your lender is. So if your rate is currently really high, look at switching and get the best rate for yourself. So if you're somebody with debt, inflation is actually your friend. If you have a balance and inflation is going up at, say, 2%, but your interest rate is actually 3%, your net is only 1%. You have a 3% mortgage, but you know that you can get a return elsewhere of, say, 5%. It wouldn't be necessarily advantageous to pay off that 3% mortgage. Now, this might sound a bit odd, and there might be other reasons why you would want to pay off your mortgage quicker. Take, for example, if you want to get onto a lower rate in the future, but you need more equity. That would be a good example of where it would be advantageous to overpay your mortgage regularly. But if your cost of debt is so low and you can get a higher rate of return elsewhere, consider before you make overpayments into your mortgage whether or not it's the best use of capital. In the last video that I made, we walked through the difference between spread betting and investing. In this video, hopefully we've covered P&L and getting your finances sorted out and introducing you to equity. In the next video, I might go through some analysis of a company, I'm not too sure, or I might go through some brokers and the different types of products that financial services are offering now. So LISAs, ISAs, or a standard stocks and shares product. We'll see where we get to. So just to be clear, this is not financial advice. These are educational videos. Thank you for watching. If you do like the content, like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And take care and hopefully see you soon.